everyone. Leslie here in the studio on a Friday afternoon. Okay, Magic Circle legs. So I'm going to review Magic Circle legs for our clients, and we're going to put it on our homework series, because when you practice Magic Circle legs, you start to develop the understanding and skill set of how your center, your core muscles here, start to connect with your legs via the hip joint. All right, so I love that, because when you figure that out athletically, you can start to open up lots of different possibilities, either into endurance type activities or increasing strength of the hips. If you don't really have a good relationship between your center and the hip joint, if the hip joint doesn't open or doesn't engage well, then you run into lots of road bumps, okay? Maybe chronic imbalances through the hips or pain, right? And so it's good, all right? So I just wanted you to see Fred here, okay? Because we're gonna find some bony landmarks, and in a moment you'll need to find these landmarks on yourself also, okay? So this is, of course, your hip joint, right, here in the socket. And this is the sticky outy bone of your femur, okay? So this is the greater trochanter. So I'd like you to find your sticky outy bone, okay? There's going to be soft tissue over that bone, muscle, and soft tissue structures. So we're going to want to find both of those points, okay? And then the other part of the leg and the hip, here, we can't really touch this part, right? We can't touch like inside our own hip joint femoral head. There are very strong ligaments. Definitely, okay, we start to get the leg into deeper in the hip, so very more involved, much more embedded structure, right? So the part I want you to kind of see is this nice curve of your sits bone, okay? So from the pubic bone here, there's a rim, and then there's going to be this lovely, nice, sometimes kind of bumpy, you're going to find those two curvy edges to sit on, okay? So if you want to find this on you, and then we're going to find this on you, okay? So your tools for Magic Circle legs, or we'll say make a stable base, right? We can title it that, is a hand towel and your Pilates Magic Circle. Okay. So I'm going to show this exercise seated. I do want people to know that you can do the exercises lying down and also standing up. I'm a fan of all three. I'm someone who have had chronic imbalances through the years, hence staying with this type of exercise program is much more impactful for me. But I will say seated is a very popular one once you figure it out, okay? So if you bring your feet into the circle, take your body and sit at the front edge of your stool or your chair so that you can feel your tailbone long onto the chair, and you can feel your two sits bones position themselves evenly. And then of course the pubic bone is just nice and light. All right, your base is established essentially. Okay, the curvy part of the circle, the foam part, is going to fit really nicely into the curve of your thigh or hip. So I recommend going as high as you can go. Okay, so my knees are about an ample fist size width apart. And then I have my feet placed so they're underneath my knees, and the weight of my foot is in the middle of the foot. So that's the second and third toe line and under the middle of my arch, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and give us a little bit of feedback, right, for your center. Remember that your core, okay, is halfway between front and back and halfway between side of the body. Okay, so I like to reference a compass. So if this was the symbol, right, where that nice compass little arrow would point, I kind of picture that as the place of beginning, and I want to find the north and south, right, of my center this way. My compass would be flat. And then I'm going to find under my hip crest, I'm going to find east and west connecting, okay? So for the exercise to work well, we're going to want to start the movement in our center, okay? So inhale at rest. As you exhale, deepen your real center, your true center together, and then press the hip from your hip. We're going to move slightly outward against the circle. So when you do this movement, I want you to feel that the two hip bones, they actually get a little bit more expansion. This would feel like maybe there's a seat belt right across the front of my pelvis. So I'm going to keep that expansion, and here's the fun part, your little sticky outy bones, right? You're going to take your trochanter's and invite them back and into the hip joint more. So I'm going to kind of slightly drill back, and I'm going to press into the base of my stool more. So I'm securing my leg into my hip. Bingo. Relax. Oh. So again, we'll go slowly again. I exhale, deepen my core, inwards and up. Then I move my hips into the circle. So I make a nice side-to-side relationship, pulling the bones slightly open. Okay? From here, hands on those nice bones, I'm going to invite my legs back and into my hip joint. Like I just kind of come back and I fold my lap a little more, and all of the wonderful, right, muscles on the side of my hips and starting to kind of go around the back of my hips for me, everything's starting to go, okay, I got to join the party now. Release. Okay? So let's practice twice, creating that a bit more efficiently. Inhale with me. As you exhale, from your center, open the circle and invite the legs into the hip more. I'm going to reach my toes forward, my knees forward. I'm going to gently kind of pull my heel back underneath my ankle joint. Ah, so good. One more time. Exhale from your center, right? Open the circle. Invite the legs deeper in. Oh, there's my sweet tremble of truth. When I do something really well, my body gets a little shaky. So I'm going to like pull in. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Now take the tool away. And remember when we saw with this, we have a different part of us. So we were moving our center this way, and we had a really great response on the side of the hips and definitely the musculature around the back of the hips. So what about this whole part, okay? The inside line of the leg into the inside hip. Okay, so this is how I love to help clients find that. So we're gonna take your towel, you wedge it all the way up to the curve of the thigh. I like to get really right close to where I feel like my soft tissue will hold it, my muscles. Same alignment with the legs. Long spine, shoulders on top of hips. Use your exhale. Create the connection to your center. And you can still get that nice side-to-side tension with your hips, right? That little bit of that lateral movement. Okay, I'm pretending my magic circle is still there. So I'm gonna move a little bit into that direction. Now, once I have it, I'm going to take my leg bones and slightly, ever so easily, slightly rotate them inwards, right? If my knees were eyeballs, they could see each other. So without it, knock me, right? I'm just going to rotate my femur a little internally, and then I have this prop here. I'm going to hug in my hips. I'm going to hug the prop. Tailbone long, long through the waist, and release. Okay? So again, slow. Connecting from your center. remembering the success of the first exercise. So I have this nice side to side motion in the hips. As I hold it, I'm going to internally rotate the thigh just enough to feel that when I hug, I'm going to invite my legs to come into my hip joint more. So I'm going to invite the legs to come a little more back and into the hip joint. All right? Voila. How tall? And relax. Okay, so let's create that more efficiently. We'll practice twice. Inhale. As you exhale from the center, invite the legs in. Do I feel my hips responding? Yes. Am I just squeezing the heck out of my butt? No. And release. But I do feel the muscles respond. So joints act, right? And we want muscles to be responsive instead of reactive. So see if you can get, again, right, the body to know from the middle. Invite those legs into the hip more. Invite your legs to the inside of the hip a little more and see if your muscles can simply respond from there. I think you'll be surprised that it works. And released. One more time. Outward, inwards. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so here's your great test. So if I stand up now, I feel like my center is nicely lifted, right? Above, here's my hip joint here, and I have a lot more muscular work happening above my legs. So as a little fun test, we'll try something that you've seen before, okay? This is a universal old-fashioned exercise. Let's try some light marching. So you can put your hands perhaps on the hips, or if you like the balance, your arms can go to the side, no big deal. Let's first create our legs, right? So we're gonna exhale, and we're gonna really suspend into our center. I'm gonna invite my legs deeply into the hip joint from the outside, and I'm gonna not forget that I have those inside legs. I'm gonna keep them in the hip joint, and I'm gonna see, oh my gosh, it's magic. I'm gonna see how that works for me. Good. So we're just keeping our connection of the legs underneath and within the hips. And so easy. Right? And I'm not perfect. I'm a real work in progress, as most teachers are. But I can tell you this is 1,000 times easier than if I didn't do it before with the circle. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please, like and then share with anybody you think that can benefit. Our studio is local to the Pittsburgh area in the South Hills, but our instruction is available online now as well as in person. Okay, so give us a little, comments or questions as you wish, and thanks for watching.